Hey guys, welcome to another Couch Conversations episode. It has been a hot minute since we've had one. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Today is June 22nd, and today would have been my PopPop's birthday. Today also marks 1 year and 3 months since his passing exactly. A year and a quarter is absolutely insane. It's felt way too long to be as short as it has been. And it, of course, has definitely been a roller coaster. For me, June 22nd has always been one of the most exciting days of summer break growing up. Father's Day and PopPop's birthday was always in the same week or very close together. And that was a very exciting week just gearing up to celebrate PopPop. And now it is a day that I kind of like dread every single year because he's gone. And I used to make him this German chocolate coconut cake all the time. That was his special request that he asked for every single year as his gift. And I loved doing that for him and I enjoyed it. It never felt like something I was forced to do, but rather something that I wanted to do. And he was a chocolate lover for sure, so definitely one of his guilty pleasures. The past two birthdays he has not been here for has been weird because, you know, when you're in the store shopping for Father's Day things and, you know, you're just in the store a lot and you pass by the baking aisle, you know, those racing thoughts and memories of buying cake mix and being excited about everything going into PopPop's birthday plans, like all of that just comes back. Now it's like, instead of visiting him at his house and watching him blow out his candles on his cake, like I visit him at a cemetery next to Meemaw. And that is like, that literally sucks the life out of me. Like there's no words to describe how heartbreaking it is. And I replay the videos from PopPop's last birthday alive just to hear, you know, his voice and how happy he sounded. And I even put those clips in that weekend recap episode of Father's Day, my Spaniversary, and his birthday, all combined in one weekend recap episode back in 2022. And now during weekend recap, during this week, it is usually the hardest week. This summer has been very, very eventful due to several events in our family, church, community. So I've had my moments to be distracted from what today means to me in several ways. But in the past 15 months, I feel like PopPop has missed so much. Like this is the last summer before I graduate high school, and just, you know, dreaming of the conversations that we would be having right now about life in the future and college. And so that is a really emotional part of my life right now, is the fact that PopPop will not be here to watch me graduate. So I remember getting the news that I would be Pep Club president for the upcoming school year, my senior year, and just so desperately wanting PopPop to know, because he knew the influence of Pep Club in my academic life. And I also remember at my induction for Spanish Honor Society that I did a day in the life vlog for, just looking out into the crowd and seeing empty seats next to my parents and godparents. And although I was grateful that they were there and we have such an irreplaceable bond, of course, my heart was still missing the presence of my grandparents in that moment, because they were definitely two of my loudest cheerleaders. When it comes to answering the question, how am I doing a year and 3 months later? I mean, grief is an ocean and I'm riding the waves. Sometimes those waves are manageable and grief comes with grace. And then other days it is quite the adventure. And I remember PopPop and I would have these conversations about life after loss. And now that I'm living in that life after loss part, sometimes I'm just like, okay. I will say I do remember more of my PopPop more than I do Meemaw. When Meemaw was in her final like 6 months of life, I was also battling like major physical challenges as a result from the scoliosis diagnosis. It was also my first year of middle school, and I was trying to balance grades with, at the time, my failing health. And I was involved with helping Meemaw in her final stages, but was very limited because I was hurting and I was struggling to function as a human, just being myself. So a lot of times I would just have to sit back on the couch and like just chill. There were many times I would just sit with Meemaw, give her life updates on what was happening in my world, and talk with her. She passed on June 16th and I had my scoliosis surgery on June 18th. So as you can imagine, 5 years ago, this week, this time, this was by far the most traumatizing week for our family. And that is why it's, you know, that kind of sore spot in the year this week, and just everything surrounding it. When it comes to PopPop, I had already had surgery. So I was able to be a lot more involved because I was in a better state and condition with his last several years of life. I was at the house a lot more often. I was also more aware, more mature, and more understanding this time around of the journey before and after loss. Meemaw's passing definitely afforded PopPop and I the opportunity to build a bond that we both needed. Not that the bond wasn't already built, but more so it being strengthened. With PopPop's inability to be mobile, especially in my childhood and throughout my life, Meemaw and I would do a lot of the physical things together, like getting out of the house, getting our nails done, getting ice cream, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, you know, all the stuff like that outside. Whereas PopPop couldn't come because of his health struggles, and he also got tired like very, very quickly. So when Meemaw passed, PopPop and I formed a closer bond, and we spent a lot more of our time at the house, because when he couldn't come with us, I would always bring an experience to him. So we would always have lunch dates at the house, dinner at the house, dessert, like all of that. And that's pretty much the main reason why I talk a lot more about PopPop than Meemaw. And it doesn't mean that I love one more than the other. I just remember more of PopPop because I'm older now, and I was 12 when Meemaw passed away. And I was also going through, you know, like I said, physical, mental, emotional struggles because of the diagnosis before surgery. And I love them both and I miss them both. But specifically today on PopPop's special day, I would give anything to see his smile as I'm walking in the room, to hug him, to hold his hand, to laugh with him, to watch football, to sit next to him in bed, to show him my yearbook from this year, and show him all of my friends that he's never met, but I talk about all the time to him. And then, you know, just to have a pep talk, video chat, phone call, text message, just everything. I have to say, as hard as it was watching PopPop fight through so many different things like heart failure, cancer, blood blockage of his brain, muscle deterioration disease, some of the most memorable moments were made while we were in the thick of it together as a family. And I remember I was holding PopPop's hand either as he was having a heart attack or a little bit after, as EMS was showing up to come pick him up and take him to the hospital. And I remember just being scared and terrified because I did not know if that would be the last time I would see him. And that was October 2022. And God definitely answered my prayer and let us spend the holidays with him, which gave me 5 more months that my heart really needed, because I really couldn't imagine like losing him right in the middle of holiday season. His desperate need for family all the time, for his comfort, gave us the time to spend together, which was very hard because you never knew which time would be the last time, but every visit was a visit you treasured like it was the last. And I'm grateful that I did that, because it truly makes the moments and memories more meaningful. But anyways, today's a weird day. I know I went off rambling about other things, but it's just those things that you think about. Loss will change you in ways you never expect, and you just think about so much more than you want to. I miss my PopPop a lot, and there's never not a time that I don't think about him. It is constantly an everyday ordeal for me. And I am convinced that heaven is most definitely giving him a much more grand celebration than I ever could on his special day. I am so blessed that God gave me the most amazing PopPop ever. It was for what I consider a short time, but in that short time, I had the absolute time of my life without a doubt. Thank you guys for helping me get through this day. Weekend recap will be coming next week, so stay tuned. I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend.